Hello everyone, sorry about that false start. These buttons on this Ustream, sometimes you have to press them 3 times, sometimes once, and the stream never seems to pick up. So while I thought I was streaming and talking to myself, nobody was seeing anything. It looks like we got a handful of people. I got a last minute message that said my email didn't go out at 4 a.m. But I believe it did because we've got quite a few people. So welcome. I wanted to again talk about today. As you know, the topic is on the 8-foot building and the 8-foot kiosk, and we're going to get into that in a minute. I want to touch on a couple other things before. One thing I like to do before we get started is kind of review how people need to ask questions. Now again, I want to reiterate the importance of asking questions, because that's really what this is geared around. We could just shoot video and do that, but there's a much greater content that comes from you guys asking questions and us answering them. We have what is commonly referred to as the curse of knowledge, which means when we share this stuff so much and we've done it for so long, 37 years now, we have done this, and sometimes we step right over the basics, and people are like, wait a minute, where do you start before that point? So it's always good to have questions. And again, like we always learned in school, when anybody had a question, the person who was brave enough to ask, there were 90% of other people that wanted to ask the same question. So remember, this video also is recorded and played back later, so a lot of these questions are answered for people that are watching it at a later time. So please ask questions. Now I'm going to make my desktop live here, and you should still be able to hear me. I have a test over here on another computer and it's not letting me view, so now I can't tell what you're seeing or not. But I'm going to hop over here to the Snowie Live, which is the page that you should be on, and you should be seeing a live video feed right here. And then it defaults coming up to the Twitter tab. You can comment via Twitter or Facebook, and the way that I encourage you to do it right now, it seems to be the easiest, is open discussion. Now, some of you may have seen this before and some of you may have used it, but many of you may be new. So please, you just come down here and click this join discussion, and it says or pick a name, and you can actually, I don't know if it's because when I click on that, now it will, you give yourself a name. So I'm going to go ahead and say Aaron, and I'd say I'd rather post as a guest, and I hit that arrow, and I am now, it wants me to make a comment, so I'll say hello to everyone.
That's all it is.
Like that. Oh, you know what, I have to do this too. If I can type. And now that has allowed me to comment. Said hello to everyone. Okay, so that is a way that we were able to see your questions. Unfortunately, on this platform, we don't have a way for there to be live voice. And we're going to be doing some other things. I'm going to touch on that in a minute, where we're going to have some live sessions where it's basically just open Q&A. And it will not be on our regular webinar series. It is going to be on an off day. I'm kind of thinking a Friday, like same time, but on a Friday, 11 o'clock Fridays. I will just sit with an open computer sitting in front of it, and I can walk around the shop and we can talk about different things, and I'll just keep a live computer for 1 hour. And so that's going to be coming, and I think I'll do that because there doesn't have to be any pre-made content And sometimes there will be, but usually there won't. It's just going to be a live time for people to ask questions and see and ask about things live. So we're going to do that. In fact, I'm going to make a decision right now that we'll be doing that every Friday, not every other, every Friday at 11 o'clock. And I'll probably actually do that for about 30 minutes. An hour might be long for that kind of content. Okay, so let me get back to me. And talking about that, let's see here. So the other thing that I wanted to touch on was I sent out an email, and also if you look on our blog post, we see these buttons, they don't move. There we go. I sent out a blog entry and also an email blast on gaining your testimonials. Now there's a few things. We talk about franchises quite a bit and why we feel like we have a benefit for people that choose us over franchises, and a lot of those come from we don't charge royalties, we don't charge franchise fees, we don't charge marketing fees. There's a lot of fees that add up and continually reoccur for franchises, and we do not have any of that. And there's a lot of benefits that come from what we do. We do not police your location. Wherever you decide to do your business, it's yours to do it. And there's a lot of benefits that come with that, but almost all of those benefits benefit you, the customer. And there's one thing that we have that is not a benefit by not doing it, and that is things like testimonials. Now, I get calls. I can't even tell you how many calls I get that are the coolest stories, and people being excited about the business that they're doing and the great weekend that they had, and they're like, thank you. This was a life-changing experience for us, and it supplemented our income to the point we needed, or it replaced our income, or I lost my job and I was able to buy me a new career, and things like that over and over. And I will say to them, man, take a moment, take a moment and share that with us. Write it down, record yourself. And then I realized that's pretty intimidating to do. And so what I've changed is, and what I have a benefit that's coming with this as well, and that is I'm going to start setting up an interview platform that is going to go through Skype. So I'll have a Skype call with you, a video call. We'll record that, and then we'll use that footage as your testimonial. I would love to have that footage. I would love to put the conversations that I have with each of you every day online for people to see and for people to be able to experience. We would love that. And part of motivating you to be able to do that, if you use Snowie's name, and this one is a criteria for that, if you use Snowie's name on your building and you function under Snowie, then by sending us your testimonial, we're basically putting you in a big pot, and we're pulling many of those entries out and supplying them with media placement. Now, in that blog, I've given a few examples of what we've done. We've had some magazine entries. I was trying to think of another word for that. Anyway, that's okay. And we've had a couple news segments and neat things that are happening for people, and we are doing an absolute blitz that we're already scheduling out for next spring when shaved ice hits, and everybody's excited about it. First thing in the spring, we are going to have news stories coming from everywhere, and we would love for that to be you. So please, if you want that benefit, if you want, and it is free to you, and you want that to happen, then please shoot us a testimonial of your story. And I will send you a list of questions before, so you won't be blindly interviewed. You'll have answers to all of those questions that I will be going through, and you should be able to answer them comfortably, and we would love to have it. So look for that. That is coming soon. We are also, well, we're doing a lot of things. Just a quick reminder for the summit that we're doing in February 5th and 6th. That is a training for everyone, whether you've never done shaved ice in your life or whether you've done it for 20 years. This will be a wonderful thing for you to attend. We're excited, and we have a lot of people coming. We've we've already, I believe we've quadrupled the number that we had last year. And we're excited about that attendance, and we're excited about the content that we're bringing, and we're creating all kinds of new packages and new things that we're going to introduce at that training. So let's move on to what this webinar is about, and that is about the 8-foot building and 8-foot kiosk. And to kick us off, I have a video that's a time-lapse video of us. It's actually Lyle in Cincinnati setting up an 8-foot building. So we'll go through that, and I may pause that for a minute and talk about some things. We'll watch it and talk about things if we need to. And if not, we'll cruise through it, and then we'll go through one that is physically here. And again, ask questions, and if you want to see something that we haven't pointed out, just drop that on that discussion platform and we will get to it. I'm kind of leaning over my computer and I feel like I have blood coming to the front of my face, so I apologize. But and I am physically in an 8x5 foot building right now, and we'll show you a kiosk over here. Now we had two brand new. I mentioned this in the text that I sent out in the email blast. We had two brand new 8-foot buildings that were fully decaled, and we sent those out last minute. So right now we've got a used 8-foot kiosk that we can show you, and just know that it's used. It's not in a perfect state. And this one is brand new inside this building, but it is a blank building. So it's somebody that wants to private decal it, and we do that. We will send out buildings when somebody wants to do a custom look and feel. So know that happens as well. Okay, so I'm going to kick this video off, and we may talk a bit through it. So as you can see, they're taking off the wheels. They drop the tongue first, they remove the wheels off both sides, and then they pull the tongue out last. And they already had all of their stuff stocked. You see them pulling everything out of the inside of that building. It was like their trailer too. They kept everything in it, they're pulling it all out, and then they're going to go back through and tuck it all in. And Gordon, feel free to chime in if there's something you see. Now one thing, I kind of did this on purpose. One thing that we always say is it's very, very easy. This is an easy business to run. It's an easy business to manage. And I kind of cracked up on this because it looks like Lyle's sweating like crazy. So he's working real hard, but he's only working real hard for about an hour, and then it's all set up and he gets to kick back again. And he's going to kill me for doing that. But we'll continue here. So now we go to the... Sorry about that. So now we go to the inside of the building. We're looking down from the attic, and they're putting 2 bottles deep all the way around the windows. So when one bottle is empty, they can move on to the next one while somebody else is filling it, or when they have a break, they're able to fill that flavor. So that ensures they're not going to run out. Now she's on the lower shelf. This is a little bit harder to see, but she's lining that bottom shelf with all of the concentrates. And below that, on the floor level, they actually have a tote there that you put your sugar water there as well. Actually on the right of her, next to her right foot, near the back door, there's a jug there that has sugar water. And they're able to fill sugar water. They're able to put concentrate in the bottle, top it off with sugar water, and fill those bottles full. Very easy to do on site, and there's very, very little to control a lot of inventory. Actually, if you see her legs right now, let me pause that. Down below her legs, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and there might even be a 5th, 5-gallon jug of sugar water. So what they'll do is they'll pull that 5-gallon jug from off the floor, put it on the second shelf, and it has a spigot that's now, that jug is put on its side, and that spigot is facing downward. So they put 1 ounce of concentrate into one of those bottles you see up top, top it off with sugar water. It takes about 10 seconds, and they're back in business. Very, very easy to control that inventory. Now, if I was able to zoom in on that concentrate, he's also 2 bottles deep on that concentrate. So whenever they need to reorder flavor in the concentrate form, they're able to say, okay, the front bottle's out. Now I have a whole second bottle that I have to be able to fill that 32-ounce bottle 16 times. And so I can go ahead and reorder one. And so a good way of controlling that inventory is to go and find the empty bottles up front, reorder them, and then put the new replenished ones behind the next bottle. It's a great way. And some people even go deeper in those bottles. So now we'll continue here. Now they're lining, stop here again, they're lining that attic. If you saw the cups, I don't know if you paid attention before, but they're the full boxes. So they're doing an 8, actually Lyle does some different sizes, but normally we do an 8, 16, and 24 ounce cup. And all of those full boxes will fit up in that attic. What these gals are doing now is they are taking all of the cups out, and they're doing like a loose inventory of every cup up there. And sometimes that's nice. It's very convenient. Me personally, I usually keep it in boxes because I feel like it's easier way to manage cup counts. How do you think?
I'd agree. Just holds all the one size cup in that box, which makes it, I believe, easier to count between shifts when you have your cup count taking place. You don't get them mixed up.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, continue playing here. So they go ahead and stock that. Lyle gets involved. He's actually putting some straws and napkins up there as well. And now I speed it up even quicker. They're just kind of going through their business docs and different documentation they're hanging in their windows and deals and things like that. Also, let me pause this. If you look on theirs, we're going to show you a building here. They have a clear window up front. The building that we're going to show you has has solid. What do they call these blinds?
Aluminum. If you look at the serving window, it's clear and see-through. That's a plastic roll-up window. It's changed to a aluminum slat roll-up window. Obviously, you can't see through it, but it's stronger.
And Lyle also has a customized building here. If you look to the right of the screen, you see another window. Now this is a really fish-eyed lens, so it's hard to tell, but that window over to the right is in the back door. So he actually set this up. I don't believe he uses the back window at this location, but when he's in a parking lot, he'll use that back door as a drive-through and the front window as a walk-up for everyone that is coming up to the building. So that's always an option as well. Continue here. Okay, so they go through that. Oh, and it's going to replay here.
There they can see that back window.
Oh, you can see the back window on the door.
Yeah.
Okay, now I will. Going to switch it to us, and I'm going to turn the time over to Gordon. We'll go through a little tour here of our building and let us know if you have any questions.
We could start out with this window since we just spoke about it. Lyle's windows were clear plastic. Now, like I had said, these are an aluminum slat. This is the way it's open is by these thumb screws. There's also some spots if you did want to lower it to this height, you could. Most people are just raising it all the way up. Obviously, it's very easy to open and close. It's a great way to not have. We used to have windows that slid open and could only go this high because there was a second window and you'd have to like lean over to talk to the customers. This is a very nice feature that we can roll it right up and out of the way. Some counties require like a small serving window. We actually build a second window. We still use this roll-up window, but another window mounts from the outside that would have a small opening, but it's still clear, see-through, and then you're going to hand the snow cone through this little window, like LA County would be an example of that. The serving space can only be so big. This window, like Aaron had said, this is a generic building. There's no decals on the outside. You also have the option, if you notice these windows are tinted blue, might be a little difficult to tell. You can get this in clear or the blue tint. We do both.
Hi. One thing they didn't say, we used to have windows also that moved this way, back and forth, and then there was a track down here in the bottom, and of course the shaved ice would spill in it, so the track was always full of goo.
It looks like the volume is low, so talk a bit louder.
Oh, well, so it just, we have no track here. It's real washable and clean because of the way the window comes down. We're not running the window back and forth. Okay. Go on.
Which if you spill, it would the syrup would go into this track. It was just difficult to keep clean and get it sticky.
The health department doesn't like that.
Yeah, the health department hated it. Where when Carl's talking about a track, he's talking right here where a window would roll back and forth. You'd slide it open. But this has a serving shelf, very easily cleanable.
Yeah.
Slick.
This building looks good on the outside. You're going to show it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to stay in here for a bit? Maybe?
Yeah.
So one nice thing about you notice Lyle, he stacked his bottles up here. This is a great display for kids. It's almost like a kid will run around the outside and he's not even picking a particular flavor. He sees the color and that's what he wants. A lot of fun for people to look. It's a great display. This was his lower counter, obviously where he had his concentrates, and then of course your floor split space for 5-gallon jugs. More supplies, whatever you need.
Did you tell him the blue knocks out like 20% UV?
Tell him.
It just eliminated 20% of the heat and the UV rays that kind of come in the building. Has a UV inhibitor in this blue tint.
Yep. We could talk about the water system for a minute. This building's equipped with a 3-basin sink. This sink's meant to wash the largest utensil, which would be your serving bottle. You have your wash, rinse, sanitize. If you look real far underneath, you've got your hose. You can like spray off your floor, fill up a bucket, and there's also your faucet. A little lower.
Oh, sorry. Oh, come down.
You notice you've got your faucet, your hot and cold. This here is your freshwater tank. It's filled by this black cap on top.
Be loud.
It is a 15-gallon tank. The Board of Health require you to have a larger waste tank or a gray water tank. This is a 22-gallon removable waste tank that you can roll out and take it to a drain and drain it. If you notice, this here is the plumbing for your wastewater. It actually goes in that spot and catches the water from the 3 sinks, as well as this hand washing sink up on top. You probably have wondered where is the hot water heater. Aaron, let's come real low again. If there's a gray box right here, that is an instantaneous heater, which means I can take all 15 gallons and produce instant hot water with this heater. It's a great way to keep things off the floor. You don't have a hot water heater sitting down there. It's just convenient and out of the way. What else? Let's show you some electrical on this building. This actually controls the pump, the water pump. We put a switch on it, so if this tank were to run dry, it wouldn't continually run that pump. You can turn this on and off as you need water. If you run the pump dry, you will hurt the pump. Another thing that I should mention is we're in the middle of winter right now. If you notice, these lines are full of pink. It's a winterizer solution that can actually drink it if you wanted, but it will not freeze. So when you buy these buildings, and if you live in a cold environment, every year you're going to need to winterize the system. And the way we do that is we simply drain out all the water. We pour in a gallon of winterizer in this tank. We turn the faucets on. Once we see pink come out of the hot side, the pink lets us know that there's no more water in it. And then we do the blue, we do the sprayer. We run through every faucet. Then once you get up into here, you do have a couple spare outlets for cash register, radio, or other applications that you may need. This is a designated outlet for your shaver. And then we've got the 3 switches. One runs the puck lights, which are these lights on the ceiling. A second switch runs the bulbs up on top. The third switch actually runs a blower on the building. This building's generic, so I can't show you the blower or the mounting hardware. But and then the AC is turned on manually by the switch on the AC. It's not located down here with the light switches. While we're talking about electrical, there also is a outlet on the outside of the building. It's a GFI. It's meant to plug in like a big ice merchandiser. Like if you're in front of a Walmart, it'd be a place where you could store your ice and keep that plugged in. Of course, we're hot wire in this building. Your building's not going to quite look like this. This is what we do to test the building and also to show you kind of how it works. It's a 70 amp breaker box, outdoor, weatherproof panel. The building, this is too bad this building doesn't have it. The new buildings have an optional keypad. We believe we're just going to transfer over to that permanently, which when I say keypad, it's you punch in a code and you can turn the handle and let yourself in. That code can be changed any time you let an employee go. You may want to change out all those codes. At this point, it's a key. This is the same key that goes on every Snowie building. So we do put a spot on this handle where you run a padlock. And you can lock it up twice.
Okay.
But the new version, if you notice that hole, you run a padlock through it. But we're getting into the touch keypad locking door handle version here, and this building just happens to not have it. If you do notice on the outside, you back up a little bit.
Can we talk about this where you can move?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of watching from the other room, so I hear things. But they on this electrical, I just want to point out that this can be 220 volts or 110 volts, and this is usually the way we provide them, because we don't know if people are going to put a cord here and go down and maybe into the ground, or to a curb here that's got power, or they can put a mast here on top and go up and anchor it with a pipe, like a 10-foot mast and a weather cap, and they can even mount a meter here, which has been done a lot, where the power company will provide the power, so then you go up and overhead. So we just provide them like this, and then what you need, you can hire an electrician and have them fine tune it for you. But you know, I say it's we run this 110 volt. Ideally, they should be 220 volts, so you can run the heater and if you got an ice merchandiser here, and the hot water heater and the shaver, it's just a lot better with 220 volts. People who run them with 110 volts struggle. They have to do things like unplug the freezer in the daytime so that they're not using that power, and they just have to do a lot of extra compromising to make it work. Where
Or they run it to separate. Like with all my buildings, I run it to separate.
They find
breakers.
two
Find
separate 110 breakers, and they bring 2 extension cords to the building.
Correct.
And it's like one's dedicated for the shaver, and the other one is for
Everything
the building.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done that.
Yeah.
Hey, talk
Okay.
quickly about washability.
Oh yeah, this is a great point. Everything on this building is similar to like a boat. It's either plastic, fiberglass, or aluminum. So there's nothing to corrode or rust or like wood getting wet and it swelling. You can when we get done at events, we'll take them to a car wash. We wash the inside as well as the outside. Literally, we squirt it down. Very easily cleanable. Board Health loves it.
Yeah. Why is it like that? Because the first building we built, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a metal structure underneath it, and it had a vinyl floor, and the particle board went kaput, and we were literally stepping over metal beams on black top, running the shaved ice down. But so we just quickly learned to. I mean, you got to make them like. I mean, these are nice. They're strong. They're built like a boat, fiberglass and aluminum, and you can pretty much take a power washer to them. Lasts forever.
If I'm going to turn off the light, Aaron, we'll just show them how this back
Yeah.
top
Yeah,
glows.
get it like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if you bought this building, you could put your own sign up there. Of course, we would like you to do Snowie, but that's not always the case. We are manufacturers.
I'm gonna.
So he's turning it on and off to show you how effective it is.
So I'm gonna go over here and just show them. So
Yeah, we could-
looks like that. Again, this is
Yeah.
a used kiosk, so not as pretty as brand new, but
Yeah,
that
looks
gives you
good.
the idea.
A lot of people that have permanent locations, they'll actually leave this on all night long, which actually casts a nice glow around their
Protective,
building.
Let it glow, yeah.
It's,
Security
Yeah, it adds some security. It also
advertises.
advertises all night long, and it pops. If it was at nighttime and you were driving by, it's very easily visually to see
And vandalism. I mean, it's too lit up like that, so it's hard to vandalize it. But.
Aaron had mentioned this building. I call it generic. This is meant for someone that loves our building, the usability and the functionality of it, but they want to call it something different. And we sell many buildings that they're not even selling shaved ice out of. They're doing coffee and hot dogs and soup and waffles and churros, and I mean the list goes on and on. Cinnamon roasted almonds. We've done it all for people. Again, kind of what that looks like closed up.
So talk about the differences between the building and the kiosk.
Okay, so there's a couple main differences. The biggest is the windows are not in the kiosk. In fact, the kiosk has telescoping poles.
You want to pull it?
If we could pull these. Maybe before we pull it, one nice thing about the kiosk is when I'm at an event and I got a line 50 people deep, it's really easy for me to put 2 or 3 kids in here, and they're literally helping this mass line. Just opens it up. This person shaving is literally shaving and keeping the counter with 1 or 2 or 3 of every size available for the employee that's selling the shaved ice to the public. At events, we're using a deal called a flavor station. So we're actually selling them an unflavored shaved ice, and then they take that and flavor it themselves.
Yeah, hop in there with him so they can see how much space.
So if he was standing at the shaver, and we've done this many times, we'd have a worker here, and like me here, and we'd have 2 lines.
And I'd be
We'd do
shaving
events.
and setting them out there for them, and the bottleneck becomes exchanging money at that point. there's a person shaving can actually shave faster than 3 people taking money and fulfilling orders. So it's roomy. It's nice. We want to pull the top. Yeah. If you notice, the pins are on the inside of this building. When we get it in the down position, you have to pin it from the inside, and that's for security. If they were to pin out here, you could pull the pins and raise the top up. This allows us to.
You can still lock it out,
Which is
to a great extent.
right.
So yeah.
So when Carl mentioned lock it up to an extent, it literally comes down, seals on the building. There is this spot that they could reach into, but it's not like you could grab the shaver and take it. There's no air conditioner on a kiosk. If you pan on the building, you can see. If I can see that.
It's hard to tell what it sees.
Yeah, you've got it.
And then there's the
It's like an
blower,
RV. This we could show you the blower. So this is the hardware that actually holds that blower. This would come up, and then this bracket is holding that blower down. There's a wing nut on the inside of the roof that pulls that clamp tight to hold this in place. What else could we show? The ACs on these buildings. Some of these buildings get used in the wintertime. There's actually a, what do they call that?
heat pump.
Like
No,
a heat,
it's not a heat
like
pump.
a
It's got a heat coil.
heating element, a heat coil. It's not real effective, but it does produce heat, and that's one cool feature about that air conditioner.
And you've, it's been for like a customer or two, but you've actually done heated floors. You've done all kinds of stuff to be able to like keep people warm, right? Where there's like, what are those heaters at the top?
So there's a gentleman. Aaron talked about heated floors. He's called Euro Snack. He's located in all the ski resorts in Tahoe, where he owns 15 of these buildings. All of his floors heat up. Not only do the floors heat up, but he also has his air conditioner that he can turn into a heater, and then and we also do heat strips, radiant heat that can also heat. It's.
And he's got his ovens.
And
he's got his ovens.
And he's-
That guy stays toasty.
He's cooking crepes.
Yeah.
He does.
Hot already. Yeah.
Of course, I've been out there to visit him. His workers stay warm, and
Their feet are warm, and
their feet are
freezing
toasty.
cold,
In fact,
yeah.
it's almost like all he uses is his floor heater, but there's a lot of options for you.
So you guys talk about fiberglass. I think a important point is that it's FDA approved. I want to touch on that a little bit.
So
it's not just fiberglass like a car.
What Aaron's talking about is it'd be like going to a McDonald's outside playground where you could sit down and eat your hamburger. That fiberglass bench and table is a food grade material. We're using the same stuff in these buildings, from the roof to the ceiling to both counters, the serving shelf. It's just a requirement that the Board of Health has, and we meet that standard.
Yeah. Do you talk about the wheels?
Lyle, in the video we showed before, it shows them taking off, but we can go through it a bit. You can talk about how it has.
I mean, that's pilot.
So
independent
this
suspension.
is the wheel that we were going to pull.
Oh, you're going to pull one.
Yeah, we can pull this one.
I mean, it typically it wouldn't be on a block. We'd just be in the back with the jack, and
Yeah.
They'd jack it
Right.
up, and the wheels would
And
get
there-
pulled off in a second, and boom,
there's-
boom. But
There's actually on our website there's a whole link that's nothing but putting the wheels on and taking the wheels off, setting the building on the ground. That's very educational. But while we're here, we can show you how it works. And the building is its own trailer, and then of course you can unpin the axles and remove it, and then lower the building to the ground.
And these are wheels I just got to point out that we use around the shop. Yours are prettier. They're like this. Yours look nice. These are ones that we just move the buildings around the shop with. So
we maybe should
Talk
also
about the
mention
suspension.
these wheels are they're removable, and we say they're really for getting to and from your location. Now, if you're going to be leaving this building on wheels for a long time, and you know it's going to stay on wheels, we have another axle. It's a permanent heavy-duty axle that has a little better suspension system than what this provides. I mean, this provides some suspension. The other one provides more, and it's just superior. So it's a better. If you know you want your building to be on wheels 100% of the time, these are the wrong wheels for you. You want the heavy-duty axle. Yeah.
The front of the building, we can show them this too. It also pins on and off as well. In fact, on the back of the building, there's another socket just like this that allows you to. We sell a trailer light, tow light system that plugs into that. It has your brake lights, turn signals, all of that. It even has a place for your license plate. But we do make it removable because kids will stand on those lights and break them. So we've come up with one that you pin in and move your building, and then when you get there, it's very easily removable.
Hey, real quick, move that kiosk, just one of you. Show people how easy it is to move around.
This kiosk weighs, if I remember right, 875 pounds.
Pretty close.
Something,
Or
yeah, close to that. I was
780.
going to say, I thought it was in the 7s.
I think it's in the 7s. The building's around 880, something like that.
Back when I used to build the buildings out of wood, they were like 2,000 pounds. A lot there. And they're wood, and it's like I had to glue every part, or they would crumble apart while they moved.
So this, it's pretty easy. It's like pushing a shopping cart over. It's very easily movable. We've had people
Maybe
pull these
a
with
minute.
cars.
What's that?
Roll it one more time. Okay. Yeah, well,
Okay.
I wondered if the peg was moving.
Oh, gotcha.
One more thing about the kiosk versus a building. A lot of people that are buying kiosks, they're strictly doing events, big mass gatherings. They can lower the top. They can zip down the freeway. We do go down the freeway with this building as well. We're talking 70 miles an hour. And people swear by this building because it gives them an air conditioner and all that stuff. But that front serving window will slow you down if you are just going to do events. This is the way we go.
Meaning the one window serving one line will slow you down at
Yes.
events.
At events.
Yeah.
But you do have employees that are comfortable and they're not in the heat. And
Yeah, but in a grocery store parking lot for the whole summer, day after day, you want to lock it up and go home, then the building is superior because you pull that one window and you lock it up. And it's unlikely that you're going to have huge, massive lines in a parking lot compared to a 4th of July fireworks event.
the sign is a removable sign. This particular one, we don't have there's a mist system on it that as you're standing in line, all the buildings come with it, that you actually stand underneath this vaporized mist that cools you. And that water is coming from your freshwater tank as well. Big hit, people love it. another neat thing about our buildings, because we do have the blower, it becomes like this beacon or meeting point for people at events. It'll be like, let's meet at 3 o'clock by Snowie, which has the big yellow windsock or tube.
And it's an attention getter. It says we're here, we're open. Kids notice us.
I was gonna
It's a
say,
real
kids
attention
kids
getter.
come up like Frankenstein. They're just like, ah. I've watched that over and over. You're in a stand and kids, they throw their arms up and start walking towards you. Okay. Anything else?
They're solid. Like look at the hinge on this door. I mean, everything's just well done. It's well thought out. It's meant to last you a lifetime. I mean, we do have, buildings get beat up over time. Kids run their bicycles into them, or a shopping cart bounces off it. Literally, you can make a building look brand new in a day by simply pulling off the old artwork or decal and putting on new. It's really slick. And then we have people that, because it's this round shape, it makes it really nice. You can put a banner, and the banner will squeeze on it and stay square. They may be shaved ice in the summer, and they may do other things with this building in the winter. It's very easy for them to take a vinyl banner wrap and pull it around their building and instantly turn it into something else. So they're making money with this year round rather than just a summer event, and many people are doing that. Other options with them.
Show this corner. At one point, you got there. Our buildings were, and of course, it's easy to cut and weld two pieces of material into a corner, and we invented basically it takes 25 tons to do it, but a bender that will bend this 1/4 inch thick 2x2 square tube, and it made it so if it's in this position, it's not a shin banger. It's just attractive. It's nice. Made it nice. So maybe one day we'll show you the bender look. Pretty cool.
It is cool. Is anyone asking questions?
That's what I was gonna follow up. I'm gonna look right now. Where I can look at it. Okay. Any questions? Please shoot.
The
them right
lighting
now.
in this building, for instance, the puck lights are a low voltage LED, which helps you with your power when you are plugged into 110. We are trying to find a way to light up the whole building with LED. The top and everything, which virtually pulls no power. Very efficient. Can they hear me?
Yeah.
One thing I meant to point out on the wheels, people that are using like the permanent axle, they may step up that wheel size to a little taller wheel, which makes it easier on your bearing as you're going down freeway speeds. You can put bigger wheels on it. We do have wheel kits that have fenders, if you wanted to put fenders on it. But like I say, you can go a bigger wheel. Aaron is trying to pull up, I believe, the question and answer part. For whatever reason, he's not able to see anyone ask any questions. He'll have that in 1 minute.
So we have a question. Do you use flavor stations with the permanent buildings?
I never do.
They may not have heard me repeat the question.
The question was, do we use flavor stations on permanent locations? It seems on permanent locations people want to have like 50 flavors, and out of those 50 flavors you have recipes that you take 2 of the 50 and it turns into 51 flavors, like strawberry colada, you're using your strawberry and your coconut or pina colada to create an additional flavor. The flavor station, only the largest one we have, holds 12 flavors. It just isn't. It's not as fun for the walk-up public. They love the options, but at an event, too many options slows the line down. So we actually use 6 flavors at events. When you start getting into stadiums or arenas, like where the Utah Jazz play, there we use the 12 flavor station just to give them a few more options. And we may have 2 flavor stations in one location. To help move the line. We'll see if there's another question. But no one does use the flavor stations at permanent spots. They just don't. They want to offer multiple 50+ flavors.
And we have a question. What is the height from floor to ceiling?
Okay. To this ceiling?
Yeah.
Okay. So the height, the question is, what is the height from floor to ceiling? I am 6'2". This buys me, I don't know, another 3 inches. So I should pull a tape measure for you, but I would say around 6'4" or 5 inches tall. And if you're real tall, you could put your head in that attic, but it's up there. Aaron's gonna pull a tape.
So we're 78.5 inches.
Which is what?
6 feet 6 inches.
6 feet 6 inches tall.
Yeah, but we can tell them. Yeah, they're blueprints. We can get them blueprints.
And we do have blueprints that show you the height of the building with the wheels on and the air conditioner. If you're to take the wheels off. I know we use a low-profile air conditioner. In fact, this is, if you look, I know Aaron kind of showed it. That is the AC up there. You can store this building in you can drive it under a 10-foot garage door, which is kind of what the storage units are for those people that store their buildings. You can get it in there. The older buildings, the ACs used to make them too tall. We since then, in the last year or two, have found an air conditioner that's a more low profile, as efficient, that's shorter, that allows you to pull them in those storage units. The floor is a tread bright aluminum floor, which is kind of a slip proof, non-slip floor, very cleanable. Nothing again to corrode or rust or rot.
That's it. No other questions. Anything else you want to say, Carl?
No. This is the tank again. It is a natural color. You can actually see your water level, how full it is. Kind of a nice feature.
Well, thank you everyone for attending. Appreciate you being here. Sorry about the camera work. We actually did all the camera work with a laptop today, so
Hey,
it was hard to see where we were
maybe
filming.
one more thing ought to be pointed out.
Yeah.
On the kiosk, it is a direct shot of power. When you're at events, you're actually sharing or going off their breaker panel. It is simply a pigtail. You don't have the electrical part is very, very easy for you to get to your event, and there's a cord that comes with the building that you just plug in. So, of course, this one's zip tied, but this cord is what's powering this building. So it's very easy to get to your events. You're not having to run a mast or some of the things Carl talked about. This building comes this way from Snowie with this pigtail that powers up your building. Now, if
do that a minute. I got to get a charger. It's going to die.
Aaron says his computer's going to die, but at events, all you're truly running is your shaver and your lights and the blower. You don't have your air conditioner drawing power. You don't have.
Hello everyone. I wanted to kind of come back and put a proper ending on this video. As you could tell, it was cut short. My laptop died while we were filming, and Gordon was talking about some power issues, and he felt like he had already shared what he wanted to share, and it was just giving another example of that. So I wanted to let you know that all of the content was there. Secondly, there was something that I touched on early in the video when I was talking about the media blitz that we're doing in trade for your testimonials. And I started talking about the benefits of us not being a franchise. And I mentioned the things that we don't charge franchise fees, we don't charge royalties, and all of those many things that are a benefit to you. And then I mentioned something that may not be a benefit, and what I was referring to was not a benefit for us. And what I meant by that was, there's information by us not being a franchise that we have no access to, like how much you make, like how much you give back to your community and to the venues that you serve and the causes and so on and so forth. And that would be cool information to have. If we could lump sum that total, that would be an astronomical number. It would be a cool figure to have, but unfortunately we can't. And we feel like it's more of a benefit to you to not have us in your books and to have that business be yours and to have what you make be yours. And that's always been a big deal to us. And where I was really going with that too was, like a franchisor would be able to go to a franchisee and say, we need a testimonial, and they would more or less be obligated to do that. We don't have that either, and so therefore we're coming to you in the form of a request. We would love to have your testimonial. Again, I have the coolest conversations and stories that come from people and what they've done in their life and what Snowie has done for them, and I would love to get that on the web. So it was my way of just telling you, I can't command you to do it, so we're asking you to do it. And would love to have that. If you want to shoot your own video and shoot that to us, that would be great. If you want me to go the interview route, please shoot me an email to Aaron, Aaron, at Snowie, SNOWIE.com. And I will put in the subject testimonial, and I will know to send a questionnaire to you and you can go through and answer those so you're not surprised by anything. And then we'll set up an interview time and we'll use that footage for your testimonial. And then we will enter you for the opportunity to potentially have some media done in your area on you and your stand come spring. Thank you. Thanks for attending. I really appreciate those of you who attend live. Thank you for those of you who ask questions. That really creates a dynamic conversation, and we love it when that happens. And we will talk to you in a couple weeks. Thanks.